Me, 36 male, with mod 42 female of 2 years. I suspect she's up to some shenanigans. I've been seeing this gorgeous woman for 2 years, and she's meant everything to me. We've always been like two peas in a pod, and I love her. We've always had our week or weekend plans set since we travel a lot, and having these plans set is a crucial aspect because of the preparations I make for a trip. Well, she canceled on me for a weekend vacation many months ago. It was unexpected and took me off guard, but that's life. She had made the decision to attend a party with her pals. It wasn't a huge problem, and I promised her I'd pick her up whenever she phoned. I wished her a good night and hoped to hear from her before the end of the night. The night comes to a conclusion, and instead of a come pick up my drunk self, I get I'm going to spend the night with my buddy here. I was cool with it and told her to rest up and have a good night. Something was amiss when we eventually met up again a week later. While we were eating, my spider sense was tingling, and she was looking everywhere except at my face. I asked her if she was all right and if there was anything I could do for her, and she responded no and that she just wanted to go home. Something was plainly troubling her, but it was a secret, and nothing I said or did would reveal it. More of our arrangements were canceled over the following several weeks, and they were replaced with her going to her friends' houses for drinks. I attempted to invite myself along on one of these outings, but she claimed that I would be bored and should find something else to do. This has me on high alert. It upset me a lot since it had been occurring a lot recently. I'm not sure what the next level of having a spider sense tingling is, but I was certainly on it. A week or two later, she cancels our Saturday plans once again. She tells me she's at the farmer's market with a drinking buddy and that maybe she and I might get together later that night. Well, it takes me 10 minutes to get to the market, so I decide to put on my detective hat and investigate what's going on. I don't tell her I'm leaving. When I arrive at the market, I look around, but I can't find this girl. I glance in every direction. I texted her, saying, "Hey, I happen to be in the market too. Where have you gone?" My phone starts buzzing with inquiries such, "Where did you park? What direction are you in? What business are you near?" I gave her the information, and she was there in front of me 10 minutes later, with perfume applied. She never puts on perfume. I ask where her friends are since I want to say hello, and she informs me that her pals have all gone to have lunch. My issue is, how can I get to the bottom of this? Reddit. What should I ask her? Is it just my imagination, or is anything wrong? Is it possible that I'm seeing things that aren't their update? First and foremost, I'd want to thank everyone for their advice. There were a couple ideas that struck a chord with me, and I appreciate them. Second, gather your popcorn to scumgood.jpg if I know we all like a good narrative, and this serves as a kind of therapy for me. This all occurred a few days ago, and it took me a while to process it all. A lot of advice revolved on confronting her and asking her what the hell was going on. She eventually decided to pick up her phone after ignoring countless phone calls and text messages. She apologized and said that her phone had died and she hadn't realized it until it was too late. I began by mentioning that she had earlier sent me a message casually stating that she simply wasn't feeling it between us. We chatted after that message, and she explained she was simply stressed and took it out on me. It's understandable. Stress occurs. So here's my next question. I'd heard from a buddy that you were dating someone else. What exactly is going on? Do you want to split up? Her response? What? Who says that? Oh my goodness, who said that? Oh my, I'm so sick of hearing all these stories about me. That was stated by whom? She continued in this manner for quite some time. What struck me was her anxiety about someone ratting her out more than the claims. She repeatedly assured me that she did not want to end the relationship, and then she began making me feel bad for saying such things to her. I had no idea how she felt about me. Because I was saying this, she got the impression that I didn't trust her. I felt like the worst person in the world all of a sudden. She also begged with me to reveal who said this, but I was unmoved. Finally, she said that she was having an intense, stressful day and simply needed to rest, and that we would discuss later, maybe over the weekend. I felt like she was misdirecting me after taking in the counsel from here. I sat there, feeling both suspicious that something was wrong and terrible that I had just accused my lovely fiancé of cheating on me. I felt awful. I sat for a while, feeling as though I had just blown a massive hole in our relationship. I adore her to bits. I felt compelled to apologize. I got in my vehicle and drove an hour to her city, stopping along the way to bring her a quart of her favorite chocolate ice cream. When I went inside the store to get this treat, I ran into her daughter, who was hanging out with her boyfriend. They are both in college, taking night courses, and had just gotten out of school and were looking for a treat. We were speaking, and she said that she was going to spend the night with her boyfriend, but that she had forgotten one of her workbooks and wanted to stop by the home right away to pick it up. After a brief conversation, the daughter's boyfriend drove away, and we both drove up to my GF home. Because they had designated parking at her apartment, I drove onto the street. Her daughter actually drove up behind me instead of in her own place, and as we came up to the door, I asked, "What's up? Neighbor grabbed your spot again." "No, it isn't my neighbor's automobile." I'm not sure whether it was the way she said it, or sigh afterward, or what, but my heart quickly fell. I knew what we were going to uncover, but I was hoping for something else. Her kid and I both stumbled through the door and came to a complete halt in the entrance. We could barely make out what they were saying. There's no denying it. You've heard it before, rhythmic pounding and groaning punctuated by brief exclamations of delight. The bedroom was just across the hall from us. Her kid stared at me with saucer-sized eyes and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." I felt like I was living outside of my body at this point. It's difficult to describe, but I immediately felt like I was simply a bystander watching events unfold. I couldn't feel anything and had no idea what to do. I'm standing here with a quart of ice cream, while my girlfriend is being railed in her bedroom. I had no notion what to do. My whole body felt as though I couldn't control it. Her kid yells, "Mom, what the F?" in a voice that sounded like a combination between a banshee shriek and a fire truck siren. My girlfriend really hurried out of the bedroom, nude, probably thinking there was an emergency. Perhaps motherly intuition that something horrible has just occurred. I'm not sure. She began to make words, but stopped as she saw the two of us standing there. Eventually, she blurted out a string of words. "Oh my goodness. What exactly are you doing here? You have no business being here. What exactly are you doing here?" She continued saying until she fled back into her bedroom. I remained standing, stunned. I'm still getting out-of-body experiences. I'm not sure how much time has gone. Whether in seconds or hours, it becomes hazy. She emerged from the bedroom dressed in her pajamas, chatting to whomever was on the other side of the bedroom door. My girlfriend, now ex, began ranting at her kid and me about why we were at the home. I believe she began weeping and making incomprehensible sounds as the reality of things began to dawn on her. Her kid begins yelling at her, "How could you do this?" And, "You did again?" At this time, I'd had enough. I couldn't bear looking at her any longer. My whole body was numb, and my ears were ringing. My body was still not mine. I strolled over to her kitchen table, dropped the ice cream, and walked out the door, saying, "I know you get hungry after, so here's some ice cream." She began to sob, "No," but I simply continued walking and drove home. That happened a few days ago. I skipped work the following day. My phone was blown up. I haven't responded. Here are some of my favorite messages for your reading pleasure. It would not have occurred if we had spent more time together. It has no significance. You know I love you. If you cared about us or our relationship, you'd speak to me. Do you think you're ignoring me? Please, I have a lot of pleases. If you cared, we could work this out. It just goes on and on. I'm still feeling a little numb right now. I just don't understand how or why this occurred. I gave this girl and her family all I had, and it didn't matter. When circumstances were bad, I supplied for them and did so much to make our lives better. I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I feel as if I don't matter, or that I can't make anybody happy right now. It's infuriating. I know I'll get over it, but it really hurts. I'm not sure why or how this may happen. We were also fantastic. I have so many questions for her, but I'm pushing myself not to contact her and simply go on. In hindsight, I should have kept the ice cream.